China has repeatedly refused to condemn Russia's attack on Ukraine, going so far as to refuse to call it what it is, a war. David Culver is out front tonight with this report from Shanghai.
Beijing fighting back against the U.S. warnings not to help Russia in its invasion of Ukraine. Today, a foreign ministry spokesperson strongly urging the United States not to undermine China's legitimate rights and interests when dealing with U.S.-Russia relations, adding China and Russia will continue to conduct normal economic trade cooperation. But might that cooperation soon include military support?
Beijing would think of this as a tightrope walk, but I think from the perspective of most external observers, they see Beijing as really being an active support for Moscow.
While both Beijing and the Kremlin deny that Russia made a request for aid, sources say Russia has asked China for drones and prepackaged military food kits, or MREs. In a 7-hour meeting Monday in Rome, China's top diplomat, Yang Jiechi, told U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan that China wants peace and could serve as a mediator, adding that Beijing is also providing emergency humanitarian aid to Ukraine.
Chinese government are juggling between several different goals and try to be friends with all parties involved.
China is already Russia's biggest trading partner and likely the only superpower that could help slow Russia's economic freefall. About 3 weeks before the invasion, President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin announced an energy deal totaling about $100 billion, including construction of a new gas pipeline. Beijing also agreed to purchase 100 million tons of oil from Russia over the next 10 years. Then there's agriculture. The same week, the West launched severe economic sanctions on Russia. Beijing announced details of a new wheat deal, expanding imports from all regions of Russia. It adds to what was an already massive surge in Russia-China trade. Chinese state media says in 2021, trade between the two jumped $150 billion over the previous year and includes Russian seed oil, barley, and beef. Every dollar counts when you're losing customers as quickly as Russia. And as the West cuts Russian banks out of the dollar-denominated SWIFT system, Russia could look to settle its trade debts with China using Chinese currency instead. Though some analysts believe all of China's potential economic relief efforts still won't be enough to backfill the massive void in Russia left by Western nations. And with China's Russian trade volume dwarfed by Beijing's deals with the EU and US, the economic risks might be too great for China.
It is doing deep, significant harm to China's interests to attach itself to the burning and sinking ship that is Vladimir Putin. China has backed the wrong horse.
But with the stated willingness to mediate the crisis, China appears to still be straddling how best to keep its economic ties to the West without abandoning its ideological allegiance to a fellow autocracy.
And Aaron, currently, China's in a pretty good spot. They're able to keep their lucrative trade with the West and potentially get Russian exports for a bargain. But especially as we're dealing with yet another round of COVID lockdowns here, really harsh measures, crushing businesses, you got to wonder, is President Xi willing to further sacrifice economic stability here, which could mean social stability, all for this ideological push to unite against the West, Aaron?
NFT, 메타버스, P2E, 그리고 결제 관련